Thank you very much. Next, we are going to talk about the exploration work done by Minera Andes in Los Azules project during the period 2009-2010. Los Azules project is 100% controlled by Andes Mining Company. It's located in the high mountains 125 kilometers west of Calingasta, in the province of San Juan, and 10 kilometers from the border with Chile. Corresponds to a porphyry copper system structurally controlled with a length in north-south of 4 kilometers and east-west 1.1 to 1.5. Up to now, it has been recognized up to 600 meters deep, and the age of the intrusive complex is 8 million years. The image shows the location of Azules in the province of San Juan in the department of Calingasta. The picture shows also the relative location of Azules compared to other known projects of the zone like Pachón, Pelambres Mine, Altar, Piuquenes, Rincones de Araya, and also in these mega corridors, the northwest structures that make the mega corridors that are very well known and very much studied for the zone. We said that a porphyry of dacitic composition, dioritic composition with some hydrothermal breccias and igneous breccias associated, and it cuts a sequence of dioritic wall rock, and it presents a very good, well-defined mineralization with a leached zone. Jarosite and hematite goes from 60 to 180 meters deep with a zone of supergene enrichment, mainly chalcocine, and deeper it becomes more immature. It's a mixed zone with chalcocine over chalcopyrite, and this zone is developed between the 60 and 300 meters of depth, depending also on the topographic height we are located. It's clear then a primary sulfides zone, chalcopyrite, bornite, pyrite, and within this zone there are some pockets of greater grade that rise to 1.2%, mainly depending on the amount of bornite. When the bornite increases, the grade also increases. Now, the work done by Minera Andes in the year 2009-2010, we have to clarify that field work can only be done from December to May. 5 months in reality, 5 months work. 23 diamond drilling were done with 10,007 meters in total, 2 geothermal wells, 1 hydrological well, remapping of the surface, and relogging of the core drillings and of the cores. Deep geophysics was determined with Titan 24 by the Titan, and continued with the updating and estimation of the resources, started with a geotechnical evaluation to evaluate the quality of the rock mass, and the environmental baseline was determined. The work done, the drilling work done by the project for the year 2006, Azules had 14,000 meters drilled, 2007, 2008, and this done 5,000 more meters with 18 boreholes, and 09, 010, and 2010, then 23 wells, 30,018 meters in total drilled at El Azules. The image shows the distribution of the drill holes in the last campaign, and we continued with a filling of a grid of 50%, 50 meters, to continue with the resource estimation. Notice 2 polygons, one in red that shows high-grade zone, more than 0.7, and the yellow dotted line shows the zone 0.35% copper. And that puts the margins at the east and at the west of the deposit. Talking about the geology of Azules, as we said, it is an intrusive complex, starts with a dioritic pluton pre-mineral, and with a dominating potassic alteration. We have divided it into BTK, predominance because there is a magnetite predominance, and an important felk zone with the predominance of potassic feldspate in replacement of the phenocrystals and lots of stockwork. And this is following the differentiation. We have a porphyry dioritic zone that in composition is very similar to the other rock, to the previous rock, and we presume that is a differentiation of the same body. Only has a textural differentiation, is marked, the texture is open, more phenocrystals. This rock deeper has potassic alteration. At intermediate levels it has a chloritic alteration overlaid over the potassic alteration, and there are sectors, one that is well limited with chalcosodic alteration. This is restricted to a central zone, and chalcosodic alteration is mentioned because it is manifested with a whitening, a generalized whitening of the rock, and it has a very marked secondary porosity that sometimes contributes with good grade to the project. We assume, and we don't have it clear yet, why this secondary porosity, but we assume it is because of anhydrite leaching, early anhydrite leaching. And then we continue with a dacitic porphyry, feldspat porphyry, the same as porphyric diorite, shows potassic alteration and some chloritic remnants in the medium levels, and also the shallower part in the alteration, the phyllic alteration cup. The feldspar porphyry and dacitic porphyry, as well as the porphyric diorite, are the rocks that more amount of mineralization contribute to the project. And late bodies of post-mineral, we have some quartz from porphyries and some veins, systems of late quartz flow temperature with textures that are banded and pseudomorphal, and contain some mineralization, lead and zinc associated. The mineralization, as I said, the zoning is quite clear. We have deeper, we have a primary mineralization of pyrite, chalcopyrite and bornite in potassic alteration, and then a secondary enrichment zone going deeper with chalcocine over chalcopyrite and the blanket of chalcocine itself. There is a mixture of sulfides with some oxides in one zone. Then comes the leached zone, the really leached zone. The project has interpreted 15 transversal sections, east-west, separated approximately 200 meters each, and one section that is longitudinal, north-south, and because of time, we are going to describe only the transversal section 59-800, that is the most representative because it cuts through the best zone of the project. Well, the image on top shows the distribution of lithology. In pink, we can see porphyry bodies, and in light green, porphyric diorite associated to it, showing clearly the relationship, the intrusiveness relationship of this rock with the wall rock. This rock is interleaved one with the other, and in the interleaving is where there is a greater amount of quartz veinlets. In the image below, you will see the distribution of the alteration. What appears in red and magenta is the potassic alteration, almost all in the bottom of the drillings. And then there are some other zones here in green that are the chloritic alterations, and in light blue this chalcosodic alteration I mentioned before. It is quite restricted, but is very important for us in the project. And then the quartz sericitic alteration in yellow in the upper part of the picture. Regarding mineralization, for interpretation we considered the mineralization of the sulfides observed in the logging of the drill cores and the analysis of sequential copper, arriving to a primary zone with mineralization of chalcopyrite and bornite. and a percentage of soluble copper lower than 35%. This is what appears in pink in the deeper part. Then about mineralization of enrichments that is expressed in light blue. We have partial enrichment and mixed zone in a darker light and darker blue, where we have chalcocine, chalcopyrite, and a percentage of soluble copper between 35 and 70%. And then what is in lighter blue, the zone of chalcocine and more enrichment, with soluble copper percentage greater than 70%. The red line that crosses north-south is the longitudinal section. The image on top shows the lithology up to half the section at the right is the zone of La Ballena, and then we have the central part and the north part. The greater distribution of the porphyries is located in the central part of the project, with that appear in pink, with diorites, porphyry diorites in a lighter green. Here we see the more tabular distribution of the alteration. Red and magenta show the potassic alteration, and these patches of chloritic alteration. And again, we have this restricted sector of chalcosodic alteration in the central part of the project, and in yellow the cap of quartz sericitic alteration, and to the north potassic alteration. The quartz sericitic alteration wedges to the north, and that could have been foreseen because the north part is practically outcropping. The distribution over the alteration, well, the distribution of the mineralization is in the lower part, and we can see the high-grade mineralization in lighter blue, the partially enriched in the mixed zone in a darker blue, and in the central part of the project we can see it has a great thickness. Mainly this migration is due to a structural event. Then it comes the primary mineralization. In the northern part, we can see some wells, some boreholes to the left of the image, some boreholes with high primary grade mineralization, borehole 37 and 59. We also do the plant. This is only elevation 3500, but there is 3500, 3000 and 3400, and this plant is at 200 meters below the surface. We can see in yellow and in green the distribution of the quartz sericitic alteration that coincides very well with the mineralization zone of the enriched zone. Let's talk about the best drill holes of the campaign. The borehole 46-47 boreholes, drill holes of the central zone with 145 meters of 1.08 copper, 47 76.8 meters of 0.92, and the borehole 48 216 meters 1.01 copper and 43 meters of 1.66. The same as well 49 266 meters 1.05 copper, including one span 140% of copper, all distributed in the central part. 51 is a very important borehole for us. It is 300 meters north of the drilling up to the drilling of the campaign 2008. This is 1.12% copper in primary mineralization, as you can see. The same thing, well 53, it is inclined, crossing the central part of the project with good grade, more than 100 meters at 1%, and borehole 59, similar to the 51 located in the north of the project, with 74 meters 0.91, and towards the end of the drilling 252 meters 0.91. Based on this and based on all the previous drill cores, we continue the estimation of mineral resources, and this is a table that compares the data of 2008 with the 2010. For 2008, we had inferred 922 million tons, 0.55% copper, and that contributed 11.2 billion pounds. And for 2010, we have resources of, or indicated 137 million tons, 0.73, and inferred 901 million 0.52, so, and that gives a total of 1,038 million of 175, 12.5 billion pounds of copper. So another important point is the high-grade resources. We had inferred 161 million tons of 0.87. And for the year 2010, we have indicated 67 million tons of 0.95 and inferred 127 million tons, 0.86. Total 124 million tons of 0.89%. This is the distribution of the resources. In red, you see the grade zone. Yellow is partial enrichment, and green primary mineralization. Another work done during the campaign was deep geophysics. 12 lines, 12 parallel east-west lines with a total of 46.5 kilometers, and with a Titan method done by Quantec in Argentina. Some pictures. This shows the alteration we call chalcosodic alteration, with some secondary porosity we can observe and whitening of the rock, and some veinlets of chalcopyrite and bornite within the porphyry diorite. This is a quartz veinlet with chalcopyrite, primary chalcocine in a potassic alteration. The rock is a diorite, and late veins of gypsum. More chalcopyrite, chalcocine. This is something to comment because we are doing this work at the moment. We are monitoring the axis, winter monitoring of the axis. The idea is to try to stretch the season for field work. At this moment, we have a mobile camp in El Candadito, this midway, with 2 road teams, and for people that know the zone, the road was open up to Cabeza de León, so we have had good results. We are just missing 22 kilometers to arrive to the point, to the camp. Conclusions. We can say that the meters drilled were doubled from 2008. We could finish 600 meters wells, deep wells that were pending for the project, because Azules is very difficult to drill because of these strong structures it presents. And Meyer, that was the drilling company, had a very good performance, arriving to 650 meters. This allowed us to prove, after the deep mineralization in the case of 51, 53A, wells that have 0.45% copper. So we determined the deep geophysics, and regarding mineral resources, having inferred and indicated, we had an increase of 12.5% of these resources. So Azules is a project of more than 1 billion tons with more than 55% copper. So we have an increase of the resources more than 0.7, and we could arrive to 137 million tons of 0.73% copper. That is approximately the work of this campaign, this season in Azules. And that's it. I want to thank for the collaboration of the geologists Nicolas Valle and Javier Gil in this presentation and in the field work. Also thanking the technical staff of Minera Andes. Thank you very much.